Hello and welcome to PalaceFanTV for our March review video part 2. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, go to PalaceFanTV YouTube channel, go and watch it, come back and join us again for part 2 where we're going to do our power rankings for the end of March. I'm Daly and of course I've got Terence Ford from redandbluearmy.co.uk and Jay Crame from the Eagle's Beak. How you doing, lads?
Good, thank you.
Good. So in part 2 of these monthly review videos here at the Victory Club in Norwood, we start off with our player performance of the month. No wins in the league for Palace, but was there any particular performances that stood out for you, Terence?
I'll nick the obvious one in Connor Wickham at Sunderland.
Unlucky, Jay.
Perfect night for him to go back to your club. You're getting booed with every touch you make. Everyone's up there saying that you're a waste of money and that they ripped us off, and 2 thumping goals. I mean,
second one nearly broke the net. Literally, the net raised up. It was
just a completely unnecessarily emphatic finish, but it was beautiful. I was thinking he might have seen someone in the crowd behind the goal that was given.
That's for you.
I remember you. But yeah, he was just brilliant in that game. Everything about holding the ball up, strength, and in those 2 games back to the West Brom one at the end of February, just 4 goals of very high quality, very high quality.
Something we've really missed as well.
Yes, indeed.
Jay?
Well, Terence went for the obvious one, which so I'll go there's 2 actually that stick out for me. I think Jedinak was very good against Leicester. I really do. I thought he was man of the match in that game from our perspective. A lot of people have been critical of him recently, but kind of saw some of the best of him in that game, and potentially at Reading as well. But I think goodbye against Reading was excellent. So I think that's my performance of the month.
Okay. And team performance, Jay? There's only 4 games to pick from. Probably Reading, I'd imagine.
I think it'll have to be Reading, wouldn't it? I think we won a game we're expected to win, but we won it, and in the cup it can be a tricky game. Tricky going to a championship side away from home.
With such pedigree as well in the FA Cup over recent years. So.
Yeah, well, they had a taste of semi-final last year, didn't they? So no doubt they'd have wanted to get there again.
But we haven't been particularly bad in any games, have we, Terence? Really, it's not been. It's easier to pick out a bad performance because they haven't really been.
I mean, the last half an hour with Liverpool was absolutely appalling. Yeah. You can pick out a million reasons as to why that happened, and but Leicester, we were always in the game. Liverpool, we were probably always in the game, even when the last 10 minutes before they got their winner, we had a couple of chances. Sunderland, we were seconds away from that much needed win, and Reading was comprehensive, really. As much as everyone abuses Hennessy, really important save at 0-0, which I don't think we mentioned in the first video. Probably quite an easy save, but you still got to make them, and if that goes in, could you imagine how it would be now?
He made a good save against Leicester as well, actually, from Morris.
He did, yes.
He did, yeah, he did. So which one are you going for?
For a team performance, I will say I'll go with Sunderland, because I really think we deserve to win that game.
I think that's fair enough. So before we do our power rankings, which are obviously here behind us, we also look at the loans. Now, Suli Kaikai is getting all the headlines. Scored 4 in 5, I believe, for Shrewsbury, up for Player of the Month potentially. Should he come back, Jay? Do we need him back, or is it best to let him stay out end of the season, get that experience?
I think let him have the experience now. I don't think Pardew's going to use him now. We've got the players back from injury. That was obviously why he was recalled for cover, and he did
then
make
he
the
got
bench.
injured.
Yeah, so I think Mickey Mellon, the Shrewsbury manager, came out and said today that he should be picked for the under-21s. He's amazed that he can't believe he hasn't been picked for under-21s yet. So interesting to see if anybody takes notice of that.
Yeah, good stuff. And the other loans at the moment, Boateng has gone back to Plymouth, I believe. Should he be in the Palace team? There's hints that he might be creeping in.
Well, with Jedinak getting injured now, he might have to come back. The 2-3 times now that I've seen Boateng, every time in a Palace shirt, he's looked great. And I think it just gets to the stage where you just got to throw him in there for 5, 6, 7, 8 games, see how he does. I think that will happen next season now as well. And then the other one, we've got Jake Gray.
Hartlepool.
Still doing a decent job there.
It's such a shame that we've had this horrible run in the league at the end of the season, because you think if we'd have got 40 points earlier, the likes of Kaikai and Boateng probably would be featuring week in, week out, wouldn't it? It'd be a perfect scenario for them.
Well, I really hope so. I really hope that we don't. We can. Somebody put up the 2011-12 season review video on YouTube the other day, so I had a little watch of that. And they're talking about, it's Steve Browett's talking about 1 to 11, hopefully one day being all from South London, from Brixton and whatever. And I really hope we don't go away from that. I really, really hope that next season, you've shown, the Spurs have shown it, putting the likes of Dyer in, like these players, you know.
Man United have shown it.
Yeah, with Rashford, exactly. Obviously, they spent a bit of money on Daly, but they still spotted the talent when nobody else did, really, and to go on to do what he's done. So obviously, I'm not putting these players in the same bracket as those guys, but until you've put them in there, how are you going to know how they're going to respond to that pressure? And if they respond well, kids tend to play with no fear, and that's when you get really good results.
And also, Palace fans love seeing that, well, fans of any club, and it almost gives the manager an extra break, doesn't it? It gives Pardew an extra kind of free pass almost if you're playing the kids.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a thing in the Premier League where it's you don't really see youth players come through at some of the teams that are struggling in the Premier League, particularly unless there's an injury crisis. Well, United have shown it this season, they had an injury crisis, and I can't believe Van Gaal would have played any of those players unless he'd have had those injuries he had. But it's paid off for him, isn't it, with some of those players. I'd really like to see Boateng come through and Sully Kaikai next season and give them the chance that they deserve, I think.
Okay, now we normally then talk about the ladies at this point, and they're doing so well. I feel like maybe next month we'll just do a whole video on the women's team, because they won, was it 9-0 the other day? I think it was.
Yeah, well, they ended February by winning their Surrey County Cup semi-final, so they're in the final of that. They started the month of March drawing against Gillingham, which are the big rivals. They were the team that came down last season, so that was a not lose game. They're currently 6 points ahead of MK Dons, unbeaten this season. I think they've only drawn one game, played 2 less games than MK Dons, but Gillingham I think have only played 13 games, so they've got a few games in hand, so it'd be interesting to see how they do. But I think if they win all their games, they'll still be about 4 points behind, so it's looking good so far. I think there's 6 games left to play.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
be great to have a Palace team end the season on a positive note.
What division do they go to? Is it?
It'll be one below. It'll be the Premier League, so the one below WSL.
Okay.
So that's their aim, to get up to that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it'd be really good.
Well, good luck, best of luck to the women's team, and we hope they can do that. Right, power rankings. This is how they ended. This is how they ended at the end of February, and it's our job to assess whether anyone moves and who comes in. I will offer you this: Connor Wickham should come in for those 2 goals at the end of February, of course, but also 2 more. And you were saying earlier, we said if Wickham scores some more goals, he gets in.
Yeah.
Does he get in, and where?
You're not going to hear any arguments from me about Wickham getting in. Probably at the expense of MacArthur, just by default of injuries, and everyone else above is still putting in performances here and there. And let's face it, no one's blown anyone out of the water in recent weeks.
Not really. And we said about Wickham's missed a few games for injury. However, we did say about Balassi, he was on there earlier in the season through his importance of being missed. And I think that's the same for Wickham.
Yeah.
He scored those 4 goals in 2 games.
Yeah.
And as we said before, if he'd have still been fit playing, I'm sure we would have got a few points.
I would say he is the main miss at the moment. I would say.
Definitely.
Does that get him further than 5 then, or just 5 for now?
Just 5 for now.
Yeah, I agree. Just 5 for now.
I think we probably all agree that Wilf is probably still top, isn't he? He's performing very well.
Yeah.
Still sort of growing in confidence and maturity. Can Scott Dan be 2, even though we haven't kept a clean sheet in what feels like forever?
Well, Reading aside.
Yeah, Reading aside.
It's going to be like him and Cabaye are constantly sort of doing this at the moment.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Cabaye picked, good performance against Reading, carried that on against Leicester, I thought. Probably just pips ahead of Dan for now for me. What do you think,
just about. I just about agree. Purely because we haven't kept a clean sheet other than at Reading. Obviously not solely Dan's fault. These not keeping a clean sheet, but is a contributing factor.
Has Palace's run in 2016 not helped Dan's calls for an England call up? No one's really talking about that anymore, are they?
I think it's a combination of Palace's run and his performances as well have certainly dropped off a bit. I don't think he's reaching the levels he were early in the season. I think it's only Zaha's the only one doing himself any favours really at the moment in that sense. And with the England win against Germany, a young team again playing with no fear, as we were just saying about with our own youngsters. it was probably, I was trying to think, it's probably the best attacking performance that I've seen from England probably since the 5-1 over Germany back in the early 2000s, and then you got to go back to Holland, I think in Euro 96 when we won 4-1. It was just so refreshing to see, and you could put Zaha into that team and it's the same sort of excitement, the same I'm just going to attack people and I don't care who you are.
It's almost like a nothing to lose attitude.
Exactly, and what a win, especially considering I was watching it with 3 Germans as well.
Very good. Okay, so we're happy with those power rankings?
Yeah.
Good, okay, well that's it. Those are our power rankings for the end of March. But comment below, let us know if you agree with those. If you don't, put your power rankings, who's the best 5 players from this season for you at the end of March 2016. Well, that's it for our review. Thanks for joining me, chaps.
No worries.
Don't forget to subscribe to PalaceFanTV for videos like this and all sorts of stuff throughout the season. Follow us on Instagram and Snapchat as well. And that's it. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.